All right, let's jump into this deep dive. And today we're looking at content scoring.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people are here because they're thinking, man, how do I know if my content is working or not? How do I even figure that out?
Right.
So we're going to dig into this awesome guide we've got here all about how to set up a content storing system.
Yeah.
And just looking at it, I'm already seeing some really cool ideas for making sure that your content is actually driving towards your goals.
Absolutely.
So,
And I think that's the key, right?
yeah.
A lot of folks just kind of like start creating content,
Right.
blog posts, videos, social media, all that stuff,
Hmm.
but without a clear picture of like what they want that content to actually do.
Totally. It's like, you're just taking a road trip, but you don't even know where you're going.
Right. You just got in the car and you're like,
Exactly.
yeah,
You might see some cool stuff along the way, but are you going to end up where you need to be?
right. Are you going to get to where you actually wanted to go?
Probably not. So
Probably not.
the guide really hammers this point home.
Mm.
Figure out what success actually means to you first.
Yes, absolutely.
What are you hoping to achieve with your content? Is it more website traffic? Is it people signing up for your newsletter?
Yeah. Maybe it's sales.
Yeah, sales. That's a good one.
It could be a lot of different things.
It could be. So you got to know that first,
Yeah.
right? Then you've got your destination figured out and you can plan the journey.
Exactly.
Now, how do we track our progress along the way? How do we know if we're on the right track?
Right.
That's where KPIs come in, right?
Yes. KPIs, your key performance indicators.
Which, for those who need a little refresher, are basically just specific metrics to see how you're doing.
Yeah, think of them like your compass and your speedometer for this content journey.
I love that. Yeah, like, are we going in the right direction and how fast are we moving?
Exactly.
And the guide digs into a bunch of different types of KPIs.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about things like, page views,
Yeah.
shares,
Purchases.
time spent on a page, downloads, comments.
Yep. All those things.
It's really all about picking the ones that make the most sense for your goals.
Absolutely. Picking the right KPIs is key.
Okay, so let's say we've got our goals figured out and we've got our KPIs all set up.
Okay.
But now, how do we actually measure the success of different types of content? I mean, a blog post is different from a video, right?
Right.
How do we know which one is doing better?
Yeah. How do you compare apples and oranges?
Exactly. And that's where I think this whole content scoring system comes in.
Yeah, that's the magic. Right.
Yeah, it's like you assign points to different actions people take when they're interacting with your content.
Exactly. So you might give, say, 5 points for a page view,
Okay.
10 points for a share, 15 points for a download,
Oh, I see.
and so on.
So that way you can actually compare them.
You can. You get a clearer picture of what's really working best, no matter what kind of content it is.
Right.
But remember, don't get too hung up on the numbers themselves.
Okay.
It's the insights they give you. That's the gold.
Well, that's good. So we've got our scoring system in place.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we know if we're even measuring the right things? Like, how do we make sure this is all actually relevant?
Well, that's where understanding your audience comes in.
Oh, okay.
It's not just about throwing content out there. It's about knowing who you're reaching.
Mhm.
What do they like? What do they respond to?
So, like, segmenting your audience.
Exactly.
This guide actually digs into that too, right?
Yeah, it really emphasizes that.
Like, you might find that certain types of content work better with different groups of people.
Yeah, for example, maybe your video content does really well with new visitors.
Oh, that's interesting.
But your in-depth guides, those might get more engagement from your long-term subscribers.
Oh, I see.
So knowing that, you can tailor your content strategy even more.
Yeah. So, for instance, in your welcome emails, you push the videos,
Right.
and then in your newsletter, you feature those guides.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I have a confession. Sometimes just hearing the word data makes me want to hide.
Oh, I get it.
It can feel overwhelming.
It can be.
Google Analytics, all the social media dashboards.
Yeah, it can be a lot.
So what do we do? Do we have to become data scientists to make this work?
No, you don't have to go that far.
Okay.
Just focus on the key metrics that are most relevant to your goals.
Okay.
And start small. Maybe you just track page views and time on page to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as you get more comfortable, you can add in other metrics.
Okay, that makes it less scary.
The process, right?
It is. And the good news is that content scoring isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Definitely not.
It's about constantly reviewing the data and, making changes and getting better over time.
Yeah. It's all about being flexible and adapting as you go.
So like, you analyze your content scores,
Uh-huh.
you see what's working, what's not,
You figure out what needs tweaking.
and then you adjust.
Exactly. It's like fine-tuning a recipe.
Oh, I like that analogy.
You try different ingredients, see what works best.
And sometimes what worked before might not work now.
Exactly. That's the nature of things. Things change.
Right. But the key is to keep learning and keep improving.
Absolutely.
Okay, so last thing.
Okay.
These insights, this data, all this stuff we're talking about,
Yeah.
it's only valuable if we share it, right?
Absolutely. Get everyone on the same page.
The whole team.
Marketing, sales, product development.
Everyone benefits from knowing what's working and why.
Exactly. It creates alignment and a more effective content strategy overall.
That's what we want. So to wrap things up,
Yeah.
I think content scoring is like a roadmap for creating content that actually works.
It is.
It's about being intentional and data-driven and always learning and getting better.
It is.
So here's a question for everyone listening.
Okay.
Think about one piece of content you've created recently.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to apply a scoring system to it, what would you learn? Where could you improve?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into content scoring.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time.
See ya.